today, and it's a great pleasure to have him joining me, is Isaiah Jackson, author of Bitcoin and Black America. It's a powerful call to action for the Black community and how we can get involved in the Bitcoin cryptocurrency space. I'm going to provide a link in the description where you can get a copy of the book. It's a must read for everybody. We're going to start with that. Thank you for coming on the show with me.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me. Glad to be here, man.
So I wanted to ask you a couple of questions because I read the book. So it gives you an overview of how you got into the space. But could you, for the people who haven't read the book, give us an idea of how you found cryptocurrency, how you found Bitcoin particularly, and what motivated you to write the book?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, how I got into Bitcoin initially began in 2013, which is almost 7 years. Crazy to think about. Started back then. I had a roommate who worked for a bank, and they actually discussed Bitcoin in one of their meetings. So he came home and kind of told me about it. He was like, it's some tech thing. I don't know what it is. And I was in the tech field. So he just kind of passed it off to me. I explored more. I liked what I saw. One of the first videos I saw was Max Kaiser, who was, explained Bitcoin very well. And I was pretty much hooked the first, day of looking through videos. And from that point, got into trading and consulting, a little bit of mining as well, altcoins. And in the consulting space, a lot of my clients were Black, and I felt like it was inefficient to only do consulting one-on-one or in small groups. So that's what gave me the inspiration to write the book, because I figured if I can get the word out on a broad scale, let's do it. You know what I mean? A lot of the solutions that are in that book, I give to clients to try and get them into the space. And I definitely wanted to make sure that broad message was out. So that's basically how I got in and what took me to writing this book.
Because I think the one hurdle that a lot of us in the space have is when we try to explain Bitcoin to people who don't know about Bitcoin. So if you're one of your clients, this is day one, how do you explain Bitcoin to them?
Oh yeah, well, I start off by simply telling them Bitcoin is money. It is a different type of money, but it is money. It has all the three values that money needs. It's a unit of account, it's a store of value, it's a medium of exchange. And I explained to them that the use case for it has the price of Bitcoin has shown you what people use it for, speculation, also a store of value. But long term, if we have a new money system, especially when I'm speaking to clients for the first time, I always tell them, hey, long term, do you think banks are going to be the solution to our issues? And everybody hates their bank. So as soon as they say it's a different kind of money and they hate their bank, they're like, let me, explore this a little more because most of, banking is essentially forced consensus. So people don't have a choice. They have to use a bank. So when I ask them, do you like your bank? Nobody does. I don't know anybody who really does. So start there, say Bitcoin's new money, and then explain it from there.
Okay. Yeah, because what I normally do when I'm talking to someone about it, I usually give them an example of you have a credit card that doesn't have a middleman.
Yeah, essentially, and you have the ability to keep the value for long term. Well, use it for payments. Absolutely.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So in the book, and I think we've all gone through this. You tell people about Bitcoin, and you tell them how much Bitcoin's worth at the time. And how come you're not rich? Right. So are you still getting that from people, or are they seeing the broader picture now that Bitcoin is in more mainstream media?
Oh yeah, well, twofold to that question. The first one, the people that doubted before, those doubts kind of went away when I moved to Beverly Hills. So that kind of, people was, why aren't you rich yet? I'm still not in my eyes rich, but my situation has changed. So those questions don't occur at all anymore. But as far as going forward, one of the issues we have with people getting into the space is that they just don't know regular people. And that's one of the things that when they were like, why aren't you rich yet? I was like, you do realize, there's a few millionaires, just like any other system, there's a few people at the bottom, that are starting. But if you're getting in the space, I'm one of those regular people who had a regular job. I was buying weekly. I was dollar cost averaging. And to them, they're just hearing about Lambos and everybody becoming a millionaire. And I was like, no, there's way more to this space than just, making millions of dollars from it. But, and especially being in the tech space, I was doing IT for years. And, a lot of tech people, I was like, you understand it. You can get into it. But they would just be like, well, if I'm not rich, I don't know why I would do it. So yes, that was a big issue. But those questions don't really occur anymore. Especially back then, the price was like $400 or $500 when I was doing the bulk of my consulting. So when you see that all the way up to now, we're at 10, 11,000. It's not even a question.
Right, right. Well, and I think the tech aspect is actually where the real benefit is, and you touch on that in the book. And I was speaking with on Twitter. Her name is Paris Athena,
Yep.
and we were talking about all the other things that you can do in crypto that aren't money related. Like someone has to build the protocols.
Yep.
Right. So there's a place for everybody in it, and it doesn't have to be, financial related. I mean, I guess by and large, crypto is financial related just because we use it as money and an investment tool. But you can go your whole life in crypto and never use a wallet. I mean, you could technically do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm glad you talked with her about that with the, I believe she has the Black Tech Pipeline she started.
Right.
Yep. So I'm glad she's introducing that because, like I say, in the book, for software developers who are coming up now, I know everybody wants to work for Google, everybody wants to work for IBM, whoever. However, I do make the case that in the Black community, if we're building the products that people are going to be using in the future, we are building the next Google, the next Uber, whatever. And in the blockchain space, like you said, you don't have to know how to trade and use cryptocurrencies for that reason. You can create tokens. You can use blockchain technology for different aspects, for dApps. The transparency alone is good enough for me. I mean, it's just like I can actually verify any data or anything on there. So I think, yes, I make that case. And in the Black community, if there is an industry that we can be a large part of that will, basically be the future, why not get started now? We have the skills. Let's do it.
Right. And I mean, you think about that Hidden Figures movie, and I keep referencing that because it's our situation in a nutshell, right? Where when companies automate, they tend to cut from the bottom, right? And in a lot of these companies, we're at the bottom. So we're usually the first to go. Where what they did was, okay, their supervisor knew that was coming. So instead of just letting these people lose their jobs, she started learning how to use the computer that was supposed to replace them. Then she taught everyone else, and then everyone else kept their jobs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a good example, perfect, because people talk about artificial intelligence taking jobs. It's the perfect time to learn how to code, learn about tech, because you could be the person that programs the machine that supposedly is taking your job. You're right. Yeah. You have to find your niche. And that's one of the things I outlined in the book. Find your niche. There's a place for everybody, and you should be good. You can prosper in this market, definitely.
I want to thank you Isaiah for taking the time and coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And everyone, I need you to read this book. This book is fire. There it is. Bitcoin in Black America. All right. Yeah, it's very important. We're going to put a link in the description where you can get your copy. It's on Amazon, and you can get it directly from Isaiah's website.
Straight to Bitcoin in Black America for the autographed copy. Amazon, if you just want a few different ones for different people.
Perfect. Isaiah, once again, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, man.